I was sitting in the courtroom, my palms damped against the polished wooden table, staring at the two people who gave me life but never really offered love. Across from me sat my parents, perfectly composed, as though they were attending a charity luncheon rather than suing their only daughter. Their lawyer stood with a smug confidence that made my stomach twist. "Your Honor," he began, "my clients are simply requesting what is rightfully theirs. They cared for their daughter, supported her, and now seek equitable compensation from her late grandmother's estate." I felt my throat tighten as the judge shifted his gaze toward me. "Miss Brennan," he asked, "is it your position that your parents are not entitled to any part of your grandmother's inheritance?" Before I could answer, my mother leaned forward and whispered to my father, her voice dripping with arrogant certainty. "She won't fight us. She never fights back." She was wrong. What my mother didn't know, what she never dreamed I had, were 12 years' worth of journals, logs, recordings, and undeniable proof of every lie, every manipulation, every time they abandoned the woman who raised them. My name is Victoria. I'm 32, a pediatric nurse who rents a small apartment, and for most of my life, I believed that pleasing my parents was the only way to earn their affection. I spent years bending backwards, waiting for warmth that never came. But everything changed the day my grandmother, Nana Rose, got sick. When I was 20, Nana was diagnosed with early onset dementia, and my world rearranged itself overnight. She needed full-time care, bathing, feeding, supervision, and no one else stepped up. My parents claimed they were too busy, always citing travel plans or hectic work schedules. I moved in with Nana, balancing part-time jobs and nursing school, determined to make her final years peaceful. She had always been the one person who made me feel seen, loved, and safe. Caring for her wasn't a burden, it was a commitment of love. But it was also exhausting. 12 years of sleepless nights, emergency room visits, and holidays spent alone with her while my parents posted pictures from tropical resorts. Nana passed away 6 months ago, and with her death came a storm I never expected. 3 weeks after the funeral, we gathered in the law office of Mr. Holloway, a calm, meticulous attorney my grandmother trusted deeply. I assumed Nana might have left me a piece of jewelry or a handwritten letter. Instead, Mr. Holloway opened the envelope containing her will and read the words that froze the air in the room. "Rose Brennan leaves her entire estate to her granddaughter, Victoria Brennan." I felt dizzy. My parents looked like statues, pale, stunned, unable to process what they had just heard. Mr. Holloway continued. "The house worth roughly $350,000, savings, personal belongings, everything." My mother's mouth fell open. "No, no, absolutely not. She would never leave us out," she snapped. My father added sharply, "Victoria must have influenced her. She was ill. She wasn't thinking clearly." Mr. Holloway calmly slid medical evaluations across the desk. Mrs. Brennan was mentally sound during every update of her will, all of which were certified. My voice barely rose above a whisper. "I took care of her. She wanted me to have it." My mother let out a sharp laugh. "You isolated her from her own family," she hissed, as if she hadn't been the one who disappeared for entire seasons at a time. They stormed out, but not before I overheard my mother's voice from the hallway, cold, composed, and determined. "We'll take everything. She's weak. She'll fold." But I didn't fold. Not this time. Within days, my parents launched a smear campaign. They called relatives, concocting stories about how I manipulated a vulnerable old woman. They claimed I barred them from visiting, that I brainwashed Nana. Suddenly, my phone wouldn't stop buzzing. Relatives demanded explanations, accusing me of greed, selfishness, betrayal. I tried telling them the truth, how I spent 12 years as Nana's caregiver, how my parents rarely visited. But they didn't want truth. They wanted a villain. Then my mother appeared at my apartment door, fake tears streaking down her face. She cried about unpaid bills, financial struggles, emotional hardship. She begged for just a portion of the inheritance Nana had chosen for me. My father stood behind her, silent but stern, adding weight to the guilt she tried to manufacture. But then I remembered all the holidays they skipped, all the emergencies they ignored, all the times I had no one to lean on. I took a breath. No, I said. Nana made her decision. I'm honoring it. My mother's sobs vanished instantly. Her face hardened to ice. Then prepare to regret this. 2 weeks later, I was served court papers. They were accusing me of elder abuse, undue influence, and financial exploitation. Their lawyer interrogated me for hours during the deposition. They painted me as a manipulator, a calculating granddaughter who moved in only to secure financial gain. They portrayed themselves as loving parents who were kept away from their mother. I felt myself shrinking under the weight of their lies. But I had something they didn't know I had. Years ago, during one of Nana's lucid days, she told me, "Your parents will fight this, darling. I'm leaving you everything you'll need to protect yourself." She wasn't exaggerating. Nana kept meticulous journals, daily entries documenting my parents' absence, my care, her thoughts, her reasoning. I also kept caregiver logs, every doctor's visit, every medication, every late-night panic attack. I saved voicemails where my parents casually dismissed their responsibility. "We can't make it again, Vic. You've got this, don't you?" And finally, there was the video Nana recorded a year before her mind began to slip. A crystal clear message from a sound mind. I met with Mr. Holloway 1 week before the hearing. He opened a thick folder Nana had entrusted to him. When I saw her handwriting, her careful notes, her deliberate love woven into every page, I broke down. "I don't want to destroy them. I just want them to stop lying." Mr. Holloway replied softly, "You're not destroying them. They made their choices. You're simply revealing the truth." The morning of the hearing, I walked into the courtroom trembling but resolute. My parents wore somber expressions, performing grief like seasoned actors. Their lawyer portrayed me as a greedy opportunist who preyed on a vulnerable woman. But then it was our turn. Mr. Holloway called me to the stand and asked one simple question. How often did your parents visit your grandmother during the last decade? I spoke honestly. Once or twice a year, sometimes not at all. My mother immediately burst out, "That's a lie!" Without a word, Mr. Holloway lifted Nana's journals. He read her entries one by one, birthdays they missed, holidays they skipped, nights I stayed up caring for her while they enjoyed vacations. The courtroom was silent, except for my grandmother's handwriting being spoken aloud. Then Mr. Holloway played one of the saved voicemails. My father's voice echoed through the room. "We'll try next month. Tell Victoria thanks for taking care of it." The judge's expression shifted. Finally, Mr. Holloway played the video. Nana Rose appeared, sitting upright on her couch, eyes clear, voice steady. "I leave everything to my granddaughter, not because she asked, but because she deserved it. She showed me love when my own daughter would not. I am fully aware and making this decision freely." You could have heard a pin drop. The judge turned to my parents. "Do you have anything to say?" My mother opened her mouth, but no words came out. My father tried to reason, but the judge shut him down. "Your daughter cared for your mother for 12 years. You visited sporadically at best. You now attempt to profit from your absence. This court finds your claims baseless." Then he delivered the ruling that made my mother's face collapse. The will stands. The defendant owes nothing. The plaintiffs will cover all court fees. My parents left without looking at me. No apology, no remorse, just humiliation. In the weeks following, some relatives apologized, others pretended nothing happened. I sold Nana Rose's house, paid off my student loans, and set up a small scholarship in her name for caregivers who sacrifice years of their lives to help loved ones. One evening, I sat on my couch holding one of Nana's journals. Inside, she had written, "Victoria, your love mattered. Don't let anyone rewrite what you lived." For the first time in my life, I believed her. And for the first time, my parents' silence felt like freedom.